You picked a fantastic day to watch the surf report because the collective is really starting to kick back, finally relaxing after the very tense energy that we've been seeing probably for the past couple weeks. And the reason why we didn't have a Tuesday surf report is because my key was lodged in the ignition, would not come out. So I had to take the car to the dealer, and I was busy riding my bike miles and miles around this area to and from work. So I just didn't have time, and I was too exhausted. So I'm sorry, but we actually missed some important things like Pluto going station and starting its retrograde, and the moon passing that, which really ignited some deep emotional work. And that's some stuff that is kind of left over in the collective unconscious. So starting with the DreamBot, if this is your first time, make sure you go to the beginner's guide, and it'll explain what we're talking about here with the DreamBot. And we've got several memes here. In the red arrows, I started this the bird meme, but there was only two words, feathers and bird. Instead, it kind of turned into like a garden or a zen or a peace or paradise thing. So bird means peace, or can mean peace. But, beautiful garden is in there, and I was just in fruit, and the word happy. So it was about paradise and good times and zen. So I couldn't help but notice this word inner at the very, number 3, inner peace, inner zen, interzension. Oh my gosh, that's the radio show. By the way, interzension, for those of you who care, is in kind of a pause, but we're going to interview Nate Terrell on Saturday morning. So I'm bringing that up because I just remembered, and I don't have a slide for that later. But interzension is in here, is in the run in the red. The other meme is kind of it's out there. Like the orange here is about party. So the word party is in here, sex is in here. Gosh, there's some little bit of overlaps, but it's like sex and seduction and intimacy. You even have drinking in here. So it's more of like a party thing. And so we'll get into that. It's in the astrology. And then opposite meme is the blue arrows. So scary, anger, fear, and then disappear. So it's fear and anger. Two of those words are fear. And if you've got fear of fear, you have panic. So it's almost like panic and anger. But anyway, let's get to the astrology. The good stuff. This is Friday, the 26th. We have the memes up here. I brought these forth. And then in the morning, we're starting with the moon is going to hit a square with Uranus. So guess what that's going to produce? So more changes possibly for some folks. It's the moon now. This is, earlier in the week was the sun conjunct Uranus. So, if you've experienced your little Uranus event, you can go ahead and comment below. But this is the moon, so it transits much quicker. The energy doesn't sustain quite as long, so we're not going to have multiple days of this, thank goodness. But when it does hit around, mid-morning on Friday, tomorrow, that could inspire some fear and anger. And then also fear and anger might be left over from Pluto going station over the south node. It's headed towards Saturn. I mean, that's in a Capricorn, tropical Capricorn. So, a lot of past emotions bubbling up there potentially. But remember, fear and anger is a much smaller meme in the collective unconscious. Really, the collective is looking at party time. And when you've got moon squaring up a little bit later at 5:18 p.m. to the sun. And that's kind of hard to balance. And it's strongly weighted to the yang side, the sun side, because it's going to come alive with a sextile, moon sextile Venus. And Venus is in tropical Aries. So Venus in Aries is woohoo, let loose. This is party time. This is with other people. I mean, obviously party, get together. And Aries, very ego driven, and fire energy by itself is go out and do it and get it done. And so you combine that with the Venus and the relationships, and you've got yourself a party, 8 p.m. That's Friday night. Now, let's go to Saturday. And what we're doing now is looking at Mars is kind of getting a lot of attention. So first at 8 a.m., you're going to wake up to, this is on Saturday morning, Mars square Neptune. And, this is going to kind of challenge the reality and inspire probably some fear and anger, fear of not being able to discern very easily, and then anger with the Mars influence. And then we also have Moon sextile Mercury. So, in tropical Aries, so communication becomes easier, and that's going to be commensurate with a state of peace. We have Mars and the Moon in a trine later in the day. Now, what we're going to point to is that you've got a couple of aspects out of Mars, which is going to become a factor later. Then finally on Sundays, really just one, which is in the morning, early morning, Moon sextile Jupiter in Sagittarius, tropical Sagittarius. And so, things are feeling quite peaceful and zen. And, it's kind of like not a whole lot going on other aspects. So there's a kind of a state of, I don't know, void or peace or zen, just with the lack of stuff here. And just coincidentally, the only aspect is a nice harmonious aspect with Jupiter. So that's a very peaceful state, or a harmonious state, I guess. But let's go back and look at the solutions now, because this could get a little bit tricky. So we are looking at, look at all these aspects with the Moon. You got 3 there. And where's the Moon in relation to sidereal? Well, it's in Capricorn. Capricorn is very goal-oriented, but it's also an Earth sign. Just like the next day, Saturday, all the attention is here in Mars with some pretty hard aspects. And he's in Taurus, sidereal Taurus. And that's another Earth sign. And so what is Taurus all about? Well, Taurus is about really, really experiencing the finer sides of life. They can also get bullheaded and just digging their heels in and defending themselves and stuff, and very idealistic. But hey, listen, this is perfect for the party and the peace together. So it's a full experience of life as the Earth signs. So let's get back towards the end here. And this is the National Dream Center's social media, which will be tomorrow. It's Friday. This is about letting loose. And we saw, aided by Venus, and Venus is in tropical Aries, which gives you that red fire energy at about 8:10 p.m. on Friday. That's Central Time. And so the collective, as you saw in the dreams, is really checking out and ready to just let loose and party. That's it's very clear, and it's the heaviest meme. And so here's intervention, is the same backdrop picture, obviously, but do. And this energy playbook is all about the Earth signs. That's where the solutions are coming from. Do, experience, and celebrate the best this life has to offer. So it doesn't mean necessarily go party like this and do things that are risky. That's not really Taurus. Taurus is more of experiencing the finer sides of life, really finding things maybe that you haven't yet experienced and going exploring to those. But if you do get to the more severe experiences, such as this party, it looks like, don't harm anyone else as you feed your ego. So what I'm doing here is, remember the Aries part, and Venus in Aries. So you've got the That's the tropical, but it's the influence. The influence is ego. And that's goes well with Taurus, which is wants to experience the material world, right? That's what the earth signs are, the material side of life, and being in the material side without being conflicted like an Aquarius would feel conflicted by being too material or too into this I don't know, ego side of things. So anyway, this is a conglomeration of earth signs and the Aries fire. And so don't harm anyone else as you feed your ego to the fullest. But feeding your ego to the fullest is the thing to do this weekend, particularly letting loose and really just letting that mind go. You know, there's no air signs in here. Really, I don't remember any. There's not a lot of water to stop us. And so let loose. You've got fire and earth. So let's do it. All right. Enjoy it. And hopefully my car won't die and we'll carry on with a Sunday report. I can't imagine anything stopping a Sunday report. So come back on Sunday. All right. Have a good weekend.